Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Savvy Sips, where we discuss all about wine. I realized that I accidentally made my first mini-series on this channel, all about the different subtypes of wine. So today, we'll round out and finish our wine subtypes mini-series by discussing something real sweet, dessert wines. Overall, dessert wines are extremely sweet, hence their name. Dessert wines can be between 10% to 22% natural sugar content. Usually, dessert wines are drank alone after dinner, as a dessert or digestif. Dessert wines are a broad topic, so let's break down some common styles and methods. First, we are traveling to France. Sauternes is only produced in Bordeaux, France. A note about Sauternes. This style of wine can come from 5 different townships in Bordeaux: Sauternes, Boursac, Baumes, Pregnac, and Fargus. Sauternes is made from Semillon, Sauvignon Blanc, and or Muscadel grapes. Sauternes is created in a very unique way. There is a fungal disease that affects grapes called botrytis. This is why my mom calls Sauternes moldy wine. However, more formally, this disease is called noble rot, because this wine was so prized it was called the wine of kings. This fungus sits on the grapes and essentially sucks the water out of the grape, leaving only the natural sugar. Therefore, when you press the grapes, most of the juice will be the natural sugar. On average, a Sauternes wine has 4.25 grams per ounce of sugar, therefore making Sauternes a very sweet wine. Common tasting notes of Sauternes include honey, peach, creme brulee, candied nuts, and baked apple. Tokaji wines come from the Tokaj region in Hungary. Like its more famous cousin, Sauternes, Tokaji wines is also produced via botrytis infection. However, Tokaji is the original wine produced with botrytis. From records dated in the 1570s, winemakers in Toki, Hungary, describe these botrytis-sized grapes, calling them asu. Therefore, Tokaji wine labels may also include the word asu, which would be no different than the Sauternes wine label, including the word botrytis. However, Tokaji production is different because the Hungarians will add these botrytis-sized grapes into the already fermenting grape juice to add sweetness. Ice wine, or Eiswein in German, can be made in any cold climate. The winemakers allow the grapes to sit on the vine until the frost comes. Then, the frost sucks the water out of the grape, leaving mostly the sugar. Then, the grapes are pressed, and most of the juice is the natural sugar of the grape. Ice wines can be made, theoretically, from any type of grape. Ice wine has been experimented and perfected in Germany. Then, the Midwest United States and Canada adopted the winemaking method, expanding the market. As you can see here, I have an ice wine as an example to show you from the Midwest United States. This method is not very common unless you live in an ice wine region. However, if you can get yourself a bottle, they are very delicious wines and cheaper than the Sauternes. Late harvest wines is another style of making dessert wines. Usually, late harvest wines are made in cooler climates because grapes ripen slower when the weather is cooler. When the grapes ripen slower, winemakers can control quality, along with allowing more time for harvesting before the grapes completely rot. Late harvest wines are exactly what they sound like, wines made from a late harvest. Keeping the grapes on the vine allows them to become overripe, which in wine terms means dehydration along with increased production of sugar. I have not had the opportunity to try a late harvest wine yet, but I was luckily able to find this bottle at my local wine store. This late harvest wine's vintage is 2000 and is made with Sauvignon Blanc grapes from the Casablanca Valley, which is in Chile. Vinsanto and Passito wines are Italian wines made by a process called appassamento. The appassamento method is when the grapes are dried on straw mats to make, essentially, raisins. This method pulls water out of the grape, only leaving the natural sugar. Then, these dried grapes are pressed for their juice and fermented to make wine. If you've ever eaten a raisin, you will notice how sweet they are. Therefore, these wines are also sweet, classifying them as a dessert wine. As we went over in the last video, fortified wines are a very broad topic. Fortified wines are wines that have a stronger distilled spirit added, like gin or brandy. Some fortified wines are strong and sharp, while others are sweet and juicy. Therefore, some fortified wines are also classified as dessert wines. Port, sherry, marsala, and Madeira are all included in this classification. Ruby ports and tawny ports are the sweetest of ports. Cream sherry, muscatel, and Pedro Ximenez are the sweetest sherries. Buell and Malmsey Madeiras are the sweetest of their kind, and Ruby is the sweetest for marsala. Therefore, if you're ever looking for a sweeter fortified wine, look for these names on the labels. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed learning about dessert wines with me, and also enjoyed my whole mini-series on wine subtypes. Tune in next time, where we will explore the idea of noble grapes.